It's been a while since I made a video of this type, but hey guys, it is Electric Joe back. I haven't said those words in forever. Can we just call me Joey now? I don't like my alter ego anymore. Electric Joe's kind of a weird name, TBH. Uh, and in this one, we're gonna be doing a reaction video. Yeah, we're becoming a leftist YouTuber because Ben Shapiro pissed me off today,
Want to become
and
a tech professional?
I'm a film major. I
Most
care a
coding
lot
boot
about like
camps have high
media
dropout rates,
criticism and
and government
stuff.
Kind of
And
quiet
Ben
ballot that
Shapiro is one of the worst. Is one of the worst. Just media criticism people I have ever seen. And I watched 2 minutes of his video and was
that
already just
got
so
revealed
pissed
before this. I said I
off
had to.
by like the points he was making. So I won't pause it too much. I won't pull a Vosh on pausing every like 3 seconds, but I'm gonna pause a lot, and we're gonna just go. We're just gonna suffer through this 11-minute video together, and should be fun. Should be fun. I missed you guys a lot, and yeah, kind of weird that my am I looking at y'all right now? I think that's the camera. It kind of looks like I'm looking down right here. I think that's because that's the camera. But yeah, if I'm looking down, that's just because I'm staring into Ben Shapiro's you know, beautiful, beautiful masculine eyes.
Last night was the Academy Awards. Nobody watched it, but we watched it, so you didn't have to. As
That's a good point. No one likes the Oscars, but you know, it wins what wins is what I'm trying to say. Last of Us 2, didn't love it, but it won Game of the Year. I didn't say that was because of the woke liberal agenda. No, it was a genuinely good game, just didn't have the greatest story ever in comparison to the first. But anyway.
always, the Oscars is way too long. It was apparently quite boring. It did have some moments. So first of all, the overall Oscar analysis, diversity always wins. So you can bet these things. I mean, seriously, if you're going to bet the Oscars, always bet on the diversity film in order to win. This year, the diversity
I'll have to look at the history of the Oscars to find out whether or not that's true, but all I gotta say is throughout the years there are a lot of white male leads in media. It's just the most common lead if we just look at the MCU. It took like 3 phases before they introduced their first black character, and then it took till Endgame until they until they introduced their first LGBT character, and it was for like 2 seconds on screen. So, and even that was enough to piss Ben Shapiro off. I believe he made like a video on Endgame saying that like, oh, Marvel's about to go woke and go broke, which is kind of true. I mean, Phase 4 is like more woke than usual, but clearly that's not the problem with Phase 4, guys. Please. Phase 4 has so many bigger problems than just having more female characters now. Like, please, guys, have better interpretation skills than that.
film was indeed everything, everywhere, all at once, all the time, forever. And that film
It's not the title, by the way. It's just called Everything Everywhere All at Once. It was a great movie. I loved it. Probably my favorite movie I've seen all year. Just why this take pissed me off in particular. We shall continue the video now, unfortunately.
was likely going to win. Now, normally what happens with the Oscars is that there is a film that sort of emerges as the early front runner, and then there's a backlash against the film, and then some other film wins. Right? You'll remember that happened the year that it was like Three Billboards at Ebbing was in the lead, and then all of a sudden it just sort of fell away because everybody's like, it's a lot of white people in that movie. We can't do that. That thing sort of happens a lot.
I don't know if that's true or not. Again, I'm not an expert on the Oscars. What I am pretty good at is being able to tell whenever a movie is popular for the right reasons. And everything everywhere all at once just was popular for the right reasons. Like Avatar 2 was a good example of a movie that was popular for the wrong reasons. It had good directing and like really good effects, but a really mid story. Like there's movies that are popular for good reasons and bad reasons, and Everything Everywhere All at Once was a movie that was popular for the right reasons. It was a genuine original idea, like in 2022, which is very rare.
Well, the Oscar winner last night, the big Oscar winner that took everything home, was Everything Everywhere All at Once Forever for the rest of time.
Not
that movie ended up winning Best Actress for Michelle Yeoh. It ended up winning Best Picture. It ended up winning also, I believe, did it win Best Director? I think it won Best Director as well. It won Best Director.
That's my dog.
It basically swept. Now, the reason that it swept is because it fulfills two intersectional check boxes. It fulfills the Asian intersectional checkbox, and we already had Parasite that won a couple of years ago, so we've done that. But it's
Right. This man didn't like Parasite. That's how. This is the type of movie reviewer we're talking about right now. This man hated on Parasite because it was a critique of capitalism and therefore instantly bad. It wasn't even a critique of like really like I don't know like capitalism mixed evenly with socialism. It was just a critique of crony capitalism, and he like despised it just because of that. And again, it was a movie that had Asian protagonists and stuff. Maybe Japan just makes better movies than America sometimes. Is that so hard to believe? I don't know. Okay,
It's a
continue.
very gay movie. Everything Everywhere All at Once is a very LGBT movie. It has the main storyline is essentially an Asian immigrant mom who is working really hard and ignoring her family, but she has to learn that her lesbian daughter's girlfriend should be introduced to grandpa, who has to be taught to accept the new ways of the world. There are the whole movie is about alternative universes and parallel universes, and in one of them, Michelle Yeoh herself is a lesbian. Oddly, her daughter is a lesbian in all the universes, apparently.
This is the point that was just like, so he doesn't understand that bi people exist. Like, if one person is a lesbian in all the universes, and as in like only is dating like girls in every universe, and then there's certain universes where the mom is dating girls, and some universes where the mom is dating guys. I wonder if that means the mom is bisexual, or is this just like I thought it was like leftists that were trying to do bi erasure and stuff, but I guess Ben Shapiro wants to like help out the leftists for once. That's pretty cool of him. Pretty cool of him. I'm a centrist, so I'm allowed to make those jokes at the left's expense too.
But Michelle Yeoh is a lesbian in some universes with Jamie Lee Curtis in like Hot Dog Fingers universe. None of this makes any sense unless you've seen the movie, because the movie itself does not make a whole hell of a lot of sense.
It's kind of the point. The movie is very weird, but it's weird intentionally. I don't think the weirdness has any particular meaning besides just like kind of embracing your inner like chaos, kind of. Not like the chaos of like I'm gonna murder people. More like just like the inner weirdness, the inner like the inner bagel. There was something called the everything bagel, and I think that an everything bagel might have been like a metaphor for just like embracing like every positive aspect of yourself. I don't know. The Everything Bagel was like a threat, if I remember correctly. I have to rewatch the movie. I remember really liking it, and I'm sure I'd like it even more the second time. Because if I like something the first time, I always like it the second time. Like Breaking Bad was a really good show the first time I watched it, but it was like it's not my favorite show ever. But then I rewatched and I was like, oh, this is my favorite show ever. So I could very easily imagine having a very similar experience with Everything Everywhere All at Once. We're gonna cut off here because my recording thing only lasts for 10 minutes. So it seems like there's a few moments where Ben Shapiro's voice is happening twice. I wonder if that's because his volume is a bit too high. I'll turn him down a little bit. But regardless, yeah. Basically, Everything Bagel. Yeah, that's what we were on last time. I think I'm just gonna continue the video straight up. Again, I apologize for the mic quality. I apologize. This chair kind of sounds weird. I promise that's not me. It's just squeaking. This is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, all right, Ben Shapiro. Let's keep on listening to his beautiful, succulent voice.
I was kind of lukewarm when I first watched it. The more I reflect on it, the less I like it. There was a Hollywood and a quiet ballot that got.
Yeah. The more he watches things, the less he likes it. I was gonna use that point as like a reflection for like what I just said. Kind of the more I watch something that I initially like, the more I like it. But I think the same might be true for a movie I dislike. Like Midsummer is my least favorite movie I've ever watched. I imagine if I watched Midsummer again, I wouldn't particularly like it a lot more. But at the same time, I think it's also possible for me to like stories more. Like over the years, I again mentioned The Last of Us 2 earlier. There are aspects of The Last of Us 2 that I appreciate a lot more than I used to as of recently. So there are things that I can develop into liking about stories whenever I care about them enough. I think The Last of Us 2 is kind of a special case because I love the first one so much that I was actively wanting to like the second one, and I just couldn't for the longest time. But still hate Abby, but still think Ellie's story is actually pretty good.
Revealed before this, and I said I had to sit there like 4 times to get through it. I think that's right. The movie itself is 139 minutes. It's a really, really long movie. I mean, 139 minutes is a 2 hour, 20-minute film. This movie should have been done about 140. In any case, it's not like
I gotta disagree with that. I think they made a really good use of their time, and the stuff that was like filler was like really funny. So I don't know. I mean, 2 hours and 20 minutes is still shorter than most Marvel movies. Again, it was well done, and to tell the story that they wanted to tell, sure you could have cut out 40 minutes of content, but that probably would have taken a lot from the experience of the movie. So I don't know. By the way, I did mention that Everything Everywhere All at Once was my favorite movie I've seen all year. That's not actually true. That title definitely goes to Moonfall. Best movie of all time, in fact. Probably a bit better than Morbius, I'd say, but not by a whole lot.
a horrible movie. It's just kind of nonsensical in a lot of ways, and then finishes with sort of the mushy "can't we all get along" story. In any case, that was sort of the only big political moment of the night. There were a couple other political moments tonight. That was the big one. Was the Oscar-winning director Daniel Scheinert saying that I used to dress in drag as a kid, and no one's threatened by drag. No one, because I used to dress in drag as a kid. Yeah, spread your morality, Hollywood. Do it.
We want to dedicate this to the mommies, all the mommies of the world, to our moms. Specifically, my mom and dad, Ken and Becky, thank you for not squashing my creativity when I was making really disturbing horror films or really perverted comedy films or dressing in drag as a kid, which is a threat to nobody.
Pretty nice. Yeah, again, like, I mean, there's like sexual drag that I'd say should be kept from like kids, but I mean, you know, if you're just like costume designing and stuff, that's no big deal. I don't know, but obviously Shapiro has a different perspective. Whatever. I don't know how interested I am in the drag thing. I more or less just wanted to rant about his take on Everything Everywhere All at Once because it was just very dumb. But I'm sure there's something else of value within this video, right? Let's keep watching just for the fun of it.
So yeah, that's I mean, I'm sorry. Talk to us more about your morality, Hollywood. Yes, I want to hear from Hollywoodites how to raise kids. That's definitely what I want to hear. Well, at the Oscars,
that's actually fair. I would not listen to Hollywood about how to raise children. Who to listen about how to raise children? I'd say philosophy is a good place to start, you know. But yeah, just kind of have discernment. Use logical thinking, and don't be a dick, and also don't be a pedophile. Yeah, that'd be my advice.
So, half the people in Hollywood should not have the jobs that they have, and they should be replaced. But here's the thing, it's hard to find great employees for your company. This is why Daily Wire. ZipRecruiter's
It's because he's like he's manipulating me into thinking that it's not going to be an ad. I'm like, yeah, this sounds like a point he'd normally make, and then it turns into an ad. Fucking A, man.
Everything Everywhere All at Once was the big hire.
Oh, good. He's not done ranting about the good movie. That's good. We can keep ranting about him.
Everything Everywhere All at Once was the big winner last night, again, because of the diversity.
Because of the diversity. Not because it was a good movie, not because it was a smash hit at the box office. Literally got like, I think, double the amount of money that it put into that it put into like making the movie. Like, again, like they made like double profit, and it had really good reviews literally everywhere. Like Avatar 2 had like bad reviews in some places. I don't think I've seen a single bad review of Everything Everywhere All at Once until right now. And the only complaint he could come up with is it's too diverse. Oh no, minorities are in my perfect movie. Jesus Christ.
The best moment of the Oscars was a winner. Again, it swept from Ke Huy Quan. You'll remember him as Short Round from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. he was handed the award by Harrison Ford. I will say it's kind of amazing that Harrison Ford still has not won an acting Oscar, but who would have called that? That Short Round's going to win an acting Oscar before Harrison Ford.
Funny story about Harrison Ford. Actually, this semester, I thought Harrison Ford was like a. I mean, I think he is, but he's like I thought he was like a historical figure, and he actually like wasn't still alive. So I heard people like talking about him playing like Han Solo in Indiana Jones. And I'm like, no, that wasn't Harrison Ford. That was someone else. Harrison Ford was like a president or whatever. And I was so insistent on like the fact that Harrison Ford was not still alive. And then my friends made me look it up, and I was all like, oh shit, okay, I guess I'm wrong. Anyway, I thought that was kind of funny.
But in any case, he did give a quite wonderful speech last night.
My journey started on a boat. I spent a year in a refugee camp. And somehow, I ended up here on Hollywood's biggest stage. They say stories like this only happen in the movies. I cannot believe it's happening to me. This is the American dream.
Yeah, that's quite wonderful. That really is like a nice thing. And I think that's why everybody was rooting for Ke Kwan. The other aspects of sort of the diversity picks were for Best Actor, a straight.
Wait, what? He was all like, "Oh yeah, that's actually sweet." You know, I actually have to kind of admit now that that this director like genuinely has passion for his craft, and therefore actual passion went into his movie. So back to why this movie only won because of diversity, real quick. Jesus Christ. What the hell? I'm I'm trying to think of another point that I was just thinking there. Oh, just that the Oscars has a lot of like fake emotion and stuff. But that's actually felt pretty genuine. So kind of based. Oh, but the reason why no one was watching the Oscars this week was probably because, you know, well, one, everyone hates the Oscars, and two, the Last of Us season finale came out, and that was a much better way to spend my night. I love that they moved episode 5 to Friday because of the Super Bowl, but they didn't move episode 9 to Friday because of the Oscars. It's like, yeah, they know they know no one's gonna watch it, but it's at least I'm getting this very unbiased and perfect in every way review of the Oscars from the man, the myth, the legend, the sexy dilf himself, Ben Shapiro.
Straight white male won, but playing a gay white male, of course, an overweight, morbidly obese gay white male. That'd be Brendan Fraser in The Whale, who won.
Wait, The Whale is gay? Oh gosh, I might actually have to see it. I thought it was just more or less like a story about like a father and daughter. I mean, if he's gay, cool. But that I bet you anything it was like a background detail. And the moment Ben Shapiro hears it, he's just like, oh no, this wholesome story about a father and daughter's relationship, but the father's gay. Well, let's throw out the rest of the story then. It's just Jesus. You can't just keep doing this with movies. You can't just keep saying there's this one small aspect of this movie that I consider forced, and therefore the rest of the movie is nigh. Like nothing else that happens matters. If you want to like insert your biases into like your movie reviews and stuff, that's cool. I think everyone's going to do that a little bit. I hate that his biases are anti-minority. You know, that's kind of unfortunate. But you know, it is what it is, more or less. People like him are always going to exist. But what really sucks is that whenever we're critiquing the MCU Phase 4, Lightyear, genuinely bad films, we're no longer like a large section of 56 5.6k likes and a ton of comments agreeing with this video and like the things he's saying. The fact is he is basically indoctrinating these people into not just his political views, but everyone is watching this video to be indoctrinated into Ben Shapiro's political views, but they're being indoctrinated into his way of reviewing movies, which is a very unconstructive way of reviewing movies, which means there's always going to be this big group of people always associated with the Daily Wire, with conservatives, that are going to hate on movies because it has Asian people in it, because it has a moment where two women kiss, because it was made by an Asian director. It's like we're not going to ever get actual movie reviews from these people. And then it's not just Ben Shapiro, right? There's like a ton of other channels that are just like critiquing, for example, The Last of Us episode 3. I think that episode did have genuine problems, but Ben Shapiro even made a video on that episode in particular just to complain about it being woke. It's like, why can't we complain about actual flaws within movies and TV shows instead of just inserting our own personal politics into like our reviews and then calling the fact that this movie doesn't agree with our own personal politics a flaw, you know? And I don't know, it doesn't even feel like politics really to say too many female protagonists, grr. Like that doesn't feel like politics, that feels like sexism to me personally. But hey, who am I to judge? I'm just the left-leaning centrist that knows absolutely nothing besides the fact that Ben Shapiro's beard would feel really nice against mine.
Over Austin Butler, who probably gave the best performance of the year as Elvis, really kind of inhabited Elvis. But Brendan Fraser won for The Whale.
I didn't watch Elvis, but I know The Whale got insanely good reviews. And Ben Shapiro most likely is not giving it the credit it deserves because the protagonist is gay, which is really unfortunate because, again, I think Elvis was probably a great performance too, but like, I think if I'm not mistaken, The Whale was just like 3 hours of like this guy going through like absolute like emotional trauma and like dying and trying to like make the most of him and his daughter's time together before he dies. It's like, yeah, he probably has a really fucking emotional performance. I'm sure Elvis does too, but it's like, I don't know, like the story lends itself to an actual like 3 hour slow piece of just like hardcore like Walter White tier acting, you know, like not Walter White, Cranston, Bryan Cranston playing or Walter White playing Bryan Cranston in real life. Yeah, that's probably how it actually works. We're all just in a simulation that actually takes place inside the Breaking Bad universe, and the Breaking Bad characters are actually watching us. That's my religion, at least.
Michelle Yeoh won Best Actress. She is very good in Everything Everywhere All at Once. The other person, but there was one person who just got kind of crapped upon for even being nominated. That was Andrea Riseborough, who gives, I think, a better performance To Leslie, but doesn't matter because, of course, diversity above all. Best Supporting Actress went to Jamie Lee Curtis, who's a big sweep, as I say, for Everything Everywhere All at Once all the time. Now, the big shutout here, and it's
Jamie Lee Curtis. Hold on, I'm sorry. I gotta look this up real quick. Like, is he complaining about Jamie Lee Curtis? Because from what Jamie Lee Curtis is a white woman with short hair, so probably lesbian. That's probably what he's complaining about. I'm sorry, that was mean. No, actually, what is Jamie Lee Curtis sexuality? It's just she dresses like it. She is married to Christopher Guest. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for assuming her sexuality, guys.
It's worth noting here, the big shutout here is Top Gun. So Top Gun, I believe, did not win a single award. Did Top Gun win anything last night? Top
Really?
Gun, it won Best Sound. It won Best Sound, which, okay, Best Sound. It did not win.
Not that good of a story. Sorry. Everything Everywhere All at Once absolutely deserved to win Best Story over Top Gun Maverick. Again, great sound, yeah. A lot of passion put into it. I could tell, and it has a lot of fans. But also more or less just military propaganda. So I don't know. It's again. I probably have a hot take on Top Gun Maverick. It was a great movie too, and it deserved to win what it won. But at the same time, There were better written, better directed, just better films this year. Like, just because your white protagonist film didn't win that many rewards this year doesn't mean you have to make an 11-minute video complaining about how everything everywhere all at once only won because of diversity. Like, again, I would not be having those complaints if Top Gun Maverick won, and I would just be like, oh wow, people kind of like a movie that has great effects, but similar to Avatar 2, kind of a mid story. Um, so yeah, that's just kind of the world we live in now. But I'm so glad that we don't, because Everything Everywhere All at Once was a movie with great effects and great writing. So hey, hope for screenwriters yet.
Best production design. It did not win best film editing. It did not win. By the way, it certainly should have won best film editing. The notion that Everything Everywhere All at Once won best film editing is absurd. Everything Everywhere All at Once.
It had such good editing. Maybe set design. I'll give you, because like there were like actual like jets used in Top Gun Maverick, which is like really cool. Like the fact that they had to like train like actual pilots and stuff to like shoot it. That's really cool. So set design, I could see like being kind of upset about. Again, it is like based off community votes and stuff, I believe. But set design, right? Is that what he's complaining about? Set design absolutely goes to Everything Everywhere All at Once.
By the way, it certainly should have won best film editing. The notion that
film editing, no, okay, yeah. Set design should have probably gone to Top Gun Maverick. Film editing, no, absolutely Everything Everywhere All at Once. The transitions are absolutely insane. The cinematography is just like some of the most unique I've ever seen. All the like creative angles they do with like all these alternate universes that like the mom's traveling through and stuff. It's so cool. Like, how could you not see why that won best editing? Again, set design, I'll give you. You made 1 point in this 7-minute and 47-second video. You made 1 point that I agree with. Good job, Ben Shapiro. Well, probably two. The Oscars not being watched by a lot of people. It's just an objective truth. So, hey, yes, objective truth still exists. I know I'm a absolute liberal communist now, but I still believe in objective truth. Sorry, crossing whatever.
Everything Everywhere All at Once won best film editing is absurd. Everything Everywhere All at Once needed to be edited with a chainsaw. But Top Gun Maverick.
So sorry. Edited with a chainsaw? What does that mean? Is he saying that the editing was done by someone who was just like bashing against the keyboard with a chainsaw? That's a really weird way of critiquing it, which is I mean, it's kind of funny, but also is not a real critique because it's just objectively false. I need to re-listen to this.
Everywhere All at Once needed to be edited with a chainsaw. But Top Gun Maverick won did not win best film editing. It did not win even best visual effects. That went to Avatar: The Way of Water.
That makes sense. Again, visual effects is like CGI and stuff, and Top Gun Maverick was more or less practical. Now there should have, there should have been a category for like practical effects and stuff. And I bet if there was one, like, well, I guess that's set design, right? Like practical effects is involved within set design. So yeah, I absolutely think that that's kind of mid that Top Gun Maverick didn't win that, because again, if there's anything that's like genuinely praiseworthy about that movie, it's set design. But character development, writing, special effects. The fact that it won audio makes a lot of sense to me. My only problem with its audio is that a lot of it felt like a music video. Like, instead of like getting actual character development, we got jets flying through the sky while music played in the background. It's just like, okay, this is a 2 hour and 30-minute movie about jets flying through the air while 2010 music plays on the loudspeaker throughout the theater. Like, okay, cool. I mean, again, the jets made cool sounds, but I feel like the jets just like being in the movie is more of a set design thing than an audio thing. I actually might, if it was me, I like might give audio to Avatar or something. I'll have to. What were the nominees? Hold on. I'm gonna give my Oscar rankings for 2023 real quick, because I actually don't even know what the nominations were. All right, so there's Everything Everywhere All at Once, Top Gun Maverick, Women Are Talking. Didn't see that. The Banshee of Inisherin, didn't see that. Triangle of Sadness, didn't see that. The Fablemans, didn't see that. I didn't watch many films this year, honestly. Films that were released this year. There's a lot more nominations than like Game of the Year. Game of the Year had like 6 games nominated, so it made it really easy to like be like, oh, are you team Plague Tale Requiem, God of War, or Elden Ring? But like now there's like for this there's like I don't know like 100 films nominated. I feel like maybe if they nominated less films, more people might tune in because then it's like, oh shoot, this is films that we've like all watched competing against one another. No one's gonna watch like 100 films in one year though besides maybe like a film major and stuff, but who's insane enough to be a film major?
This is a tactical mistake by Hollywood because in 5 years, nobody's going to be watching Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's just not going to happen. It's going to be a movie like Birdman or The Revenant. You know, things where in the moment people are like, oh,
I think people still really like The Remnant. I haven't ever watched. I've never heard of Birdman, but from I've heard people talk about The Remnant like recently. So if people think of Everything Everywhere All at Once the same way they think of The Remnant, I mean, I probably will like it even more. In fact, I'm probably gonna rewatch it like tonight or something because I just talking about it so much like is getting me like excited to rewatch it, and I might even watch The Remnant just to like see if that's another like really good movie that he's like saying is like super forgettable. Because that's what he's more or less saying, right? It's just a forgettable movie, which is just wrong. It's not. It's there's so many memorable. Probably the most memorable moment is the two people becoming a rock, and then having a really profound conversation as like the mother rock and daughter rock. That was very. I felt that.
oh man, that's a great movie. And then no one ever watches it again. I know that critics fell in love with this movie. Again, I think I know the reasons why, but it's not. Top Gun was clearly the phenomenon of the year. The fact that there were so many people who were opposed to Top Gun was a quasi-political statement. It was sort of along the lines of this piece from MSNBC called Top Gun Maverick is the most insidious movie at the Oscars. This is from Zishan Alim, who said that it's insidious because it is very much in favor of the American war machine as a beacon of virtue and excitement. It's a poisonous kind of nostalgia, one that smuggles love of endless war into a celebration of live action.
Yeah. So this is actually similar to the point I made earlier, just about like how Top Gun Maverick, just like the original Top Gun, is this is just objective truth. It's a military propaganda film. It was made to get more people to apply to the U.S. military. It was the same reason the first one was made, which is whatever. It works. But both films did see an objective like rise within military, like people going into the military, which is what's really funny. A movie that Ben Shapiro actually absolutely hates. I thought it was kind of mid for different reasons, but he hates Captain Marvel, and it had the exact same goal as Top Gun Maverick, to except targeting towards women specifically. It wanted to get more women into the Air Force. Top Gun Maverick just wanted more people in general to get into the Air Force. But it's kind of funny that like he was like, oh, Captain Marvel is trash because it's feminist, and yet it was like it was something that he'd support, which is like propagating up, people joining the military, which I assume he's about to say about Top Gun Maverick that oh well, Top Gun Maverick is a good thing. It's getting more kids to go into the real world and fight the good fight and stuff like that, which is just a very conservative point of view. And yet, a film that just most conservatives absolutely despised for the reason of being woke was actually doing something that they, want. So yeah, Hollywood isn't that woke. If you've seen Some More News, he recently made a video on this, and seeing this video right after the Some More News video is probably what inspired me to make this video in the first place. Again, I don't know. I was passionate, and I missed talking, and I like the idea of kind of maybe doing political streams every now and then. I think that'd be fun, just to update y'all on life and just show y'all how how some of my views maybe shift or rant about things that are rantable or whatever.
I think that is one of the kind of subtle reasons that Top Gun had to lose, because it was kind of too pro America. I wasn't allowed to win. Speaking of people who are not pro America, one of the people who spoke last night was a guy named Donnie.
So too pro America. That's not what I thought he was going to say. I thought he was going to like go into the military funding thing, but I think that's kind of what he's implying. That oh yeah, it's pro America because it's pro like Air Force, and like it shows how brave our military is whenever they kill the nameless baddies and stuff, which is really funny. My dad called this out, but like yeah, like none of the bad guys in the movie, like it was not clear who they were. They were just like stormtroopers more or less, just wearing masks, and it's just like oh yeah, they're just the masked bad guy from the enemy territory. It's not, the war is never developed. It's like it's just absolutely like just pure action for action's sake, which is not a bad thing. You know, it's a fun movie, but I don't really like movies that just exist for fun. I like movies that send messages. So
Donnie Yen is in John Wick 4. I'm not sure why Donnie Yen was speaking at the Oscars, but as it turns out, Donnie Yen also is a front person for the Chinese regime.
I'm sorry. Didn't John Wick win like not too long ago? I'm pretty sure John Wick, at least one of the John Wicks, won an Oscar like very recently, which kind of defeats the point of people of like things only winning Oscar nominations, like just because of diversity. Because John Wick is a straight white man fighting like Iraqi terrorists and stuff, right? So yeah, I don't know. I don't think that I think if we looked through the Oscar nomination history, Ben Shapiro would be proven wrong, which we might do at the end of this. But let's just finish up this video.
So, according to NME, there's a petition that was actually set up against Donnie Yen doing this, set up by a Hong Kong activist who claimed the decision showed contempt for the people of Hong Kong and that Yen's presence would damage the image and reputation of the film.
Oh Jesus, I'm probably doing like a little edit during that part because literally nothing else interesting was said for the rest of that video. All right, let's look at Oscar winners past past 10 years. Let's do that, or last 5 years. Let's even just make it a bit easier. Hello Toto. I think Toto was humping his bed for a very long time, which kind of unfortunate. Coda. Parasite. Okay, what is Coda about? Yep. 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 You are a extremely bad dog. If you heard him breathing in the background, I greatly apologize. I just started hearing him breathing like near the end, and then I was like, I just want to finish this. Coda is a woman protagonist. Okay, I'm sure that would kind of piss off Ben Shapiro. Nomadland. That kind of sounds like it might have a diverse cast. Woman protagonist. Okay, I'm glad we have more women protagonists in films. Games still aren't really, at least good games aren't giving us female protagonists, which you know, kind of mid. Green Book. Green Book. Boom. We have a white guy and a black guy on the cover. So yeah, it was. Let's see. One, two, three, four. It was 4 years ago the last time we had a white protagonist be a main character in a movie that won an Oscar. And like I mean like an A-list character. You know, I'm sure Coda, Nomadland, yeah, I'm sure Coda and Nomadland also had white characters. Like I bet you anything, like at least B-list characters. So I don't get it. What's here? Let me even look this up. Um, is Green Book woke? Isn't woke enough? um, okay. What? Okay, so it's about racism, kind of, and fried chicken. Interesting. I mean, never mind the quality. Feel the woke. Okay, it's a movie about racism. Got it. So I guess that'd be the complaint that the movie was about racism. There was actually a lot of movies about racism in 2018 by the looks of it. Black Panther also was a thing, that movie. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was the first Black Spider-Man we've had in a big feature film in, I think, ever. So that's pretty cool. I mean, yeah, Miles Morales was always a thing in the comics, but I don't think they ever made like they might have made a TV show about him, but like I mean feature like length film. So yeah, like 2018 was probably around the time that that we started kind of caring about diversity a bit more. I mean, again, Ben Shapiro isn't wrong. People do care about diversity. It's just the fact that he paints it in such a negative light that really rubs me the wrong way. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to think about this current state of the Daily Wire. I used to love the Daily Wire, man. You have no idea. I used to be that type of conservative that would throughout community college. I was just like, yeah, let's listen to Ben Shapiro owning the libs and stuff. But it wasn't just that. It was also because that was around the time where like my opinion on gay marriage was changing, and Ben Shapiro kind of like also was like someone that um, seemed to not have that bad of an opinion on gay marriage in comparison to like a lot of other like fundamentalists, like religious people. Um, and so whenever I heard him speak about it, it was kind of like a comfort to me. And then I found out that he actually thinks the gay marriage law should have never been passed, and I'm just like, oh, it's like as he imagines that the world is getting more woke because black people are shown on screen more. Um, he goes deeper and deeper into like this conservative hole, and keeps digging, and it's really unfortunate to see because I feel like I do agree with Vosh on like the fact that Ben Shapiro is not that bad of a person in comparison to people like Matt Walsh and like other members of the Daily Wire. He's a genuine human being, and he has his own thoughts and stuff, and I can respect that even if they're kind of racist sometimes. um, yeah, I don't know what else to think other than um, just I hope that the Daily Wire can kind of recover from this extremism that they seem to be delving deeper and deeper into every week. Because from what I remember, they used to be right-leaning centrists, kind of more moderate source, but that is definitely not the case anymore, and it's sending their reliability way down. All the fact checkers have them like at the bottom layer of reliability now. So people are taking notice, like people that actually research reliability and stuff. They're taking notice of what the Daily Wire is doing. And then there's also the people that aren't taking notice and then being indoctrinated into those same beliefs. And it's really unfortunate to see, and I hope that we can recover. Regardless, thank you guys for watching. I don't know how often I'll do videos like these, but I did have an idea about just like doing a podcast kind of with me and one of my friends. I might make it the Deconstructing Christians podcast actually, and I might record that tonight, and that might be kind of fun. So if y'all want to see that, I might actually make that video very soon. And yeah, um, that's basically it. I guess I'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace.